Hello all, welcome to another quick learning. Today we're going back to CodeSignal, work on the database SQL coding exercises. If you're joining this in the middle of a playlist and you want to start from the first video, I'll put a link in the description below so you can go to that first video in the playlist. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to the arcade, I'm going to databases, and then I am going to the section we're still on, which is selecting what to select. And we're on number 66, consecutive IDs. So you work for an online store in which each item put on sale gets a unique randomly generated ID. These item IDs are stored in the item IDs table with only one column. So it's just got the ID. However, the system proved to be not very convenient to use in a number of queries that required consecutive IDs. To solve this problem, you decided to generate new IDs for the items using the following algorithm. The item with the smallest ID would get 1 as a new ID, the second smallest would get 2, and so on. Given the item IDs table, compose a resulting table with 2 columns, old ID and new ID. The first column should contain the old item ID, and the second one should contain the new ID generated as described above. The table should be sorted by the new ID in ascending order. Okay. So for the following table, so the IDs are not consecutive, so it goes 1, 12, 23, 42, on down, etc. And they want the output to be these old IDs and then a new ID that starts with a 1 and it gets incremented by 1 for each row. Alright, so let's look at how you can do this. So we're going to set what's called a session variable. Session variable has this one @ sign. If you see 2 @ signs, then it's a global variable. So a session variable means it will be available for that session that you're running it. In this case, we're going to keep setting it to 0 every time we run this procedure though. So it's always going to start at 0. And then we're going to select ID, and we're going to call that the old ID because that's what they wanted the column to be named as. And then we're going to take the session variable, and then you have to do this colon equals to change it, to set it to a new value. And then we're just going to take the @row number plus 1. So it starts out at 0. For the first row, it's going to be 0 plus 1, so it's going to be 1. And then for the second row, it's going to add another 1 to the previous row number, so it's going to be 2, and so on. And that's from the item IDs table, and we're going to order by ID because we want these old IDs to be ascending in order. Now it says you're supposed to order them by the new ID, but the way that we're doing this, using the row ID being incremented each row, it's already going to be sorted that way. So if we run that, CodeSignal's a little slow today. Alright, so you just have to trust me that that does run the test correctly. It's fairly simple. Maybe you've never seen this variable setting in SQL, but this is how you do it. This is how you would reassign it for each row and increment it by 1 in this case. So this is a pretty simple query. Hope you guys were able to follow along with that, and I hope you join me for future videos. Thank you very much.